1999-2000 became the HIV conversation time.
Exactly.
So I was wondering if that was
That was part of the reasons. At that time in my country, HIV was just through the roof. We were seeing what we're calling floor beds in medical wards. The number of sick people with HIV were so many that when you watch on television, you get the feeling you just had to go home and help.
But what was causing it?
Well, people not believing that HIV existed. One of the things that WHO has tried to do in Africa is to grow the Ghana office.
Okay.
Because of the strategic position of Ghana, the decision has been taken to strengthen the Ghana office so that it also supports 3 other countries, which is Liberia, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia.
Okay, but Jock, what is it that makes Ghana so strategic?
There are a number of issues, but the first one, which is key, and we alluded to it, is the fact that Ghana has a very strong human resource base, which most of the countries in the sub-region do not have. Okay. But also we have...
What's the reason for that?
Well, Ghana invested in education.
Of course.
But also, over the years, Ghana institutions have become centers of excellence. And so they've been channeling out very, very strong human resource capacities, not only in health, but across the breadth of education. But you have choices. And
it's not like that in Zambia?
No, Zambia is the same. In fact, Zambia is built or modeled around Ghana.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting.
Our first president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, was a protege of a friend and a student of Kwame Nkrumah.
Of course. He's
so
a legend.
Kwame Nkrumah did, Zambia copied. From industry, we had the same industries, we had the refineries, so everything Kwame Nkrumah did, Kenneth Kaunda did.
So, Doc,
yes.
Let's talk about your childhood.
Yes.
I mean, of course, we know you're from Zambia.
Yes.
So which part? And what was it like growing up?
Well, I come from the northern part of Zambia in a province. Initially, the province was called Northern Province.
Okay.
Then it was divided into 2. It's now called Muchinga and Northern.
Muchinga and Northern.
Northern, yeah. My parents both came from the northern part of Zambia, about 120 kilometers apart.
Oh, practically the same place.
Well, those days it was apparently
more
difficult terrain and difficult to marry.
Oh, wow.
You tended to marry somebody from your own village. So my mom comes from a place called Impika. And then my... Okay, so
it's easier to ride around, but you know, riding along the Ghana roads, no pavements.
So this one is easy. You once you just have to control. It's downhill, and just a
nice cruise.
Yeah, and just your brakes. Yeah. Make sure you are applying both brakes. Huh?
Okay. Hey.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay, I didn't fall.
You see how easy it is?
It is. I think the downhill is easier.
Downhill is very easy.
It's a free fall. And the breeze is lovely.
Yeah. So it's...
Oh, I can see why you enjoy it. This is quiet.
What's that?
The estate is very quiet.
It's very quiet and very... There are hardly cars zooming around.
Very quiet, very serene. I like that.
So normally what I do is I go uphill.
Okay.
And then come down slowly. And then go around again uphill.
Oh, so you did
two rounds,
twice.
Yeah. At least twice.
It's about how many minutes?
About 20 minutes.
Okay.
It's 20 minutes. If you go where we were going, If we had gone this way up to the end round, it would have taken us maybe 20 minutes.
Okay. My husband, he cycles.
Oh.
I mean, there are even, like I said, he has 3 different bikes. So there are even times when, in the evening, he needs to go and buy something. We live at Chado, behind Trade Fair.
For me,
he'll ride all the way to Laboni.
Laboni?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's good.
Yeah, I don't trust riding on the main road.
Well, first of all, there are 2 things with riding. It's courage.
Well, that's
because even on the main road, it's the same as the cyclists that ride motorbikes.
That's true.
Yeah, you just have to have that courage to go around cars and so on.
That's very true.
Because don't forget, the other persons are also seeing you.
True.
That you're riding.
You're riding.
Normally, cycling accidents occur when you suddenly make sudden sort of changes to turn left or to turn right, and then you don't look behind. But otherwise,
if you're careful,
it's safe. They see you.
Okay. That's some food for thought.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way.
No, it's. Oh la la.
No, but it's very relaxing.
It's very relaxed, and it's downhill, so you don't get problems. This is our friend who came and.
Yeah. His second time around.
Yeah. That's good. So you get into the habit. Just find a place. I'm told a number of friends have invited me to go and cycle around the Legon campus.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
So you go there early in the morning, you cycle around, come back. Yeah.
Nice.
But then it hasn't been for me. I've not had an opportunity to do that a lot outside there because when I get home, it's almost dark. So it's And then weekends, like I told you, I go to play golf.
Yes.
And I'm sure we're going to have that exercise tomorrow. Yeah. So like you see, he's coming. He's seen us. So,
so he's taking his time.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So we'll go left. And we are back home.
Yeah.
And oh yeah. So you see the weather now is cool. So okay, welcome back.
Right here.
Oh.
Yay. We did it.
We have done
I did it.
So I invite you again next time you're free. Come we ride, bring your husband.
Now I have to make this a habit.
Okay.
Oh.
There we go. So thank you.
Thank you. This was a brilliant, exhilarating experience.
Well, that's we normally do. I normally sort of do like 2-3 rounds, depending on time. Yeah, but it's fine. I think the important thing is that we are back and we are ready for the big dinner.
Welcome back. Now it's time to have dinner with my guest, Dr. Francis Chisaka Kasolo, here on Diplomatic License. He is, of course, the country rep, the ambassador, the head of mission, however you'd like to put it. He's the boss at the World Health Organization office here in Ghana. And we went cycling. He's been doing it for 10 years. I haven't done it in God knows how long. So my legs are aching. But, Doc, it was really, really refreshing. And as you suggested, I think it's a hobby, an exercise I'll take up. Because the gym isn't for me. I won't even pretend.
Yeah, well, cycling in many ways is like swimming. You really exercise your body muscles, your hands, your feet,
Now
your
it's the
legs.
doctor talking.
So it's a good exercise, but also it sort of brings, especially after a busy day. And I'm sure you've had busy days. That when you do a cycling, it really calms you down. So I would encourage not only yourself, but even you're telling me your husband cycles, so join
he does
him.
all the time.
Yeah, join him and.
But he'll leave me behind. He'll ride ahead of me. You ride with me.
It's okay. The whole idea is that you finish your race.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is a health need. At least for me, it's worked wonders.
Because when the breeze started blowing, it was very calming, and
it is.
I felt my nerves physically calming.
Exactly. It's something I would encourage you to take on. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Doc, let's talk. I mean, we have food here. Should we serve the food before we talk, or talk before we serve the food?
Well, just to say
we have a whole spread.
It's my daughters and I think we'll meet them later.
Oh, so your daughters are here?
They're here. They came to relax.
How many do you have?
I have 2 daughters.
Okay.
And I also have a son.
Okay.
So really the son is right in the middle. The eldest is a human rights lawyer.
Oh, so she's a lawyer.
She's a lawyer. Yeah, she did law in the United Kingdom and decided to specialize in human rights. Then the boy is the second.
He's the one who started university and then COVID.
Yes, and so he spent much of his university first year really doing what you call virtual learning. But and he was in the UK. We never saw him for more than a year. But he's fine.
But what's he studying?
He's studying business and international development.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then the last one is also a girl, a young girl. She's finishing the equivalent of A levels sometime in May, June, and then going to university.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Does she know what she wants to study yet? Or maybe
yes, I think you would ask her. Yeah, but she's been applying to universities in Canada to study business, but she will tell you what she wants to study. Unfortunately, none of them want to do medicine.
Well, congratulations. Clearly, you and your wife have done very well.
Well, my wife has done very well because I'm one of those absentee fathers. But she had to really put her career on hold to look after the children. She herself is a physician by training. She's a specialist physician.
So you are both medical
doctors,
professionals. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. And she had to put that on hold.
She had to put her career on hold to look after the children.
Huh. Your wife is a wonderful woman.
So I look back and say maybe I should have put down my career and
so that she could.
Yeah.
Your wife is a
but
wonderful.
she's now back into mostly training of physicians.
Okay.
She's the president of the Zambia College of Physicians.
Oh, your wife is a big woman.
She is.
She's no small lady.
Yeah. So we've agreed that she will have to.
Yeah.
She will have to move to Ghana after our youngest daughter goes into university. So I'm sure.
So she can be with you.
Yeah, she'll be.
Yeah, and I'm sure she could do some practice.
Oh yeah. She's
someone with her qualifications.
She's got sound qualifications, clinical qualifications, but also she's a medical educator.
Okay.
So she's specialized not only in clinical medicine but also in medical education, which is really training health workers.
Yeah. Beautiful. So your family clearly is well put together, and I'm sure a lot of work goes into that. We'll talk about that shortly. But I'm curious.
So we put together the meal.
How did you do this? Because I left you in the office. You were supposed to come home. I would go and get my things.
The trick was in the morning we discussed with my daughters on what to do. So by the time I was coming back, they had already started off. Yeah. So we'd agreed that. We're going to combine the food with the Zambian theme.
Okay.
In Zambia, we eat a lot of fish and meat, and meat products.
Okay.
But today we said red meat may not be the healthiest, so we've gone for
You have to prove that you are the WHO boss.
Yes, we've gone for a grilled fish,
okay,
which is there. We've also...
And what kind of fish is it?
This is a tilapia.
Tilapia, okay. So
Yeah. And then we've gone for also a Zambian equivalent of fufu. It's maize meal.
okay.
We call it insima.
Nsima. Is that similar to Gali or any
Ugali,
of the others?
it's the same. It's
so
the same, yeah.
the Uganda,
But we call it Nsima.
Botswana mix Nsima.
Yeah, and
okay.
also ours is a bit soft.
Okay.
The East Africans, Ugali is a bit
It's
hard.
hard, yes.
Yeah. So we also thought you should have an equivalent of
jollof.
Of our jollof, which is really fried rice with vegetable rice. We then also grilled. You will notice in the home we try to avoid a lot of oil.
Yeah.
So we also grilled some chicken.
Okay.
We have salad.
Okay. So a nice green salad.
Green salad, but also
fresh.
to go with that, we have some cooked vegetables. These are pumpkin leaves.
Pumpkin leaves.
Cooked in peanut butter.
So this is something that you eat in Zambia.
This is a Zambian thing.
So
We
similar
normally
to our,
eat it
maybe
with-
our kuntumre.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the other is just plain rice. We didn't know whether you'd like our rice, so we had an option of the plain rice.
You really thought about me. I'm very flattered. Thank you.
Yeah. But before we probably eat, we just have a quick prayer.
Of course.
I told you I was a
raised
Catholic,
and I'm
we were
Christian
brought
myself.
up to
Yeah.
really pray. And Fridays we avoid red meat.
Yes.
So, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the friendship, for the work that our colleagues in the media are doing to enlighten the population of Ghana. We thank you for the gift of the friendship, but we also ask you to bless the food that we're about to take. We bless those that have spent their time preparing this food. We also pray for those that are not fortunate enough to have the food that we're about to eat. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please, it's self-service. You can start with the salad, you can start with the fish, you can...
Okay, so
Yeah,
maybe we start with the salad. Okay, so that's
There's some servings. Yeah,
Okay. So we can use one of these for the salad?
Please.
Okay, what should I pass you? Maybe this
I
one.
wanted to just sort
Okay.
of cut the...
Okay, so
Yeah.
I need to give you the
let me cut
carving
the...
fork.
Yeah,
And
there's a knife. Yeah, so I'll cut the
That's
fish.
a big piece of tilapia.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure...
Let's smell it. Oh, there are olives in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Doc, I'm turning the table for you so you can. I don't know if you want to start with the salad.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
we'll
so while we're on this, a little birdie tells me that you're also a farmer.
Yes. It's
You do so many things, and you're so busy.
life should not be boring. You
I
need
like
to
that.
have
I like
options
that.
in life.
I like that.
Yes, I am an emerging farmer. 5 years ago, I invested in 150 hectares of land.
150 hectares.
Hectares of land, or equivalent of about 400 acres of land. And on that land, it's north of Zambia. I grow what you'd call cash crops. Things like soya beans, sunflower, those are the things that I grow. I used to grow maize, but it was a lot of work, so we focus mostly on soya beans.
Oh, maize is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work to look.
Because ironically here, so my husband and I do maize as well. Maize is one of the easiest to grow. Maybe it's also different climate, I suppose.
If you're growing commercial maize, there are two types of maize. First of all, you go into what they call the maize that we eat.
Yes.
But there's also what they call commercial maize, which is seed maize.
So for feed and all
No, for seeds.
For seeds.
For
okay.
seed, yeah. That's you really need to invest a lot in herbicides, for instance, but also making sure in my country over the last 4 or 5 years they've had what they call armyworms, which eat up the maize. So
it's an infestation that has
so every year you have that outbreak. So I'm into farming, mostly soya beans, but I also
keep animals. I rear beef cows as well as goats. What we call village chickens in my country. These are free-range chickens.
In Ghana, we call them efiakuko.
Efiakuko. The Burkinabe call them what? Chicken biscuit. Yes. So I'm into that, and I'm hoping when I'm done with health, I'll go and settle down on my farm and
nice
wake up in the morning and look at my animals and make sure that they're okay.
But are you doing it commercially?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's on commercial basis. They're really for sale. This year, for example, we're targeting about 20-30 hectares of soybeans.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It works out to roughly, if you really grow it well, you can end up having roughly about 1,000 bags of 50 kg bags
That's
of
a lot.
soybeans.
So are you selling internally, locally, or you are exporting at this point?
No, at the moment we sell internally.
Okay.
We sell to the because soybeans is used for many things, for getting cooking oil out of it, vegetable oil, for animal feed and so on.
And it's a big deal in Zambia.
Yes, and so we have commercial farmers that, as well as commercial companies or companies that buy it.
Okay, would you like some?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So that's what we do in terms of farming.
Okay, so you're a farmer, you're a doctor, you're a public health expert, but you're also a father.
Yes.
And I know you mentioned that your daughters cook, so that means your two daughters are here, because you mentioned you have two daughters and a son.
Yes, both of them are here.
Okay, can they come?
Yes,
We want to see
Kamisha.
them, if they don't mind.
Leah.
They coming?
Oh, yeah.
Hi ladies. Fine, how are you? Pleased to meet you.
Yeah,
And
please.
thank you for cooking up a storm for us.
No problem.
You know, like little angels or little elves in the background. So you are Kamisha.
That's Kamisha.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Lawyer in.
Okay. Yes.
So her full names are Mwansa
Mwansa.
Kamesha Mbuto Kasolo.
Mwansa Kamesha Mbuto.
Kasolo. So, but Kamesha is a short for Kamesha Mbuto.
Kamesha Mbuto.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Something to do with seeds. And growing something.
Yeah, it's a person that tends to crops and seeds, and so it's supposed to be a mother-like figure.
Oh, see, so the farmer and you.
Yeah. No, actually, my mom, when Kamisha was born in London, when she was born, I was still in school, finishing off my PhD. So I called home. Those days we didn't have cell phones. Most people had just a landline. So called on the landline and told my mom, I have a daughter. And she says, oh, her name must be Mwansa Kamesha Mbuto.
Just like that.
Just like that. So I said, why? He says, oh, her grandmother, who was the Mwansa, daughter of Kamesha Mbuto.
Okay.
So she combined the grandmother's name with the great grandfather's
Okay.
name.
Okay, so the daughter of...
The daughter of Kamesha Mbuto. And Kamesha Mbuto is supposed to have been a great man. Okay. But the daughter, Mwansa, was a very dedicated, one of the earliest Catholics in my country. So my mom thought, oh, this is time to give the name. And my dad didn't know that the wife had already named
Had already named the granddaughter. So you're a lawyer. Yeah, and you're in Ghana. This is your first time in Ghana?
My second time.
The second time. Okay, so you come, you know. Yeah. How do you find it?
I really like it, actually. Apart from the heat.
Oh, it's not as hot in Zambia, is it?
No, I mean, it doesn't get this hot. I think it's a different type of heat.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a really nice country.
It's wonderful.
I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, and you like it. Yeah. And you're Leah? Yes.
Liam Kweto.
So Liam Kweto.
Liam Kweto Munaku Kasolo. She's named after my father's only sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
You both have powerful names.
Yeah.
So you just finished your A levels.
No, I'm finishing IB 2.
Okay. Oh, you're an IB student.
Yes.
Were you as well?
Yes, I
Because I did IB. Yes, I did. So what are your SLs? You're doing the dip?
Yes, I'm doing
Okay.
full diploma.
Okay.
So my standard levels are math, application, and interpretation.
Yeah.
SL, chemistry SL, and French B. SL.
Okay. And then your higher levels.
High level economics, language and literature, and then biology.
Okay. So which of your higher levels are you going to follow? Through
Following the economics.
economics. Okay. So more business. Okay. Wonderful. My higher levels were economics, English, and French. And then, French B. And then my standard levels were biology. I don't remember. I mean, I finished IB in 2007, so you have to forgive me. Biology. Oh, what were the other ones? What are the other groups? They're all grouped.
There's the individuals and societies, there's the music.
So good. Biology, history, and mathematics. Yes, those are my standard levels. And what did you study?
IB?
Yes.
I did HL History, HL Economics, HL English,
Okay.
and then I did SL Biology, Spanish, and Maths.
And that's wonderful. Oh, it's good to see fellow IB students. Yes.
We're rare to find.
We are very rare to find. So what, you're going to study business. Why business? None of you followed the medical profession, and both your parents are doctors. Or you had too much medicine at home, so you decided to...
I think in me it manifested as a phobia. I don't know about the rest of them. Always being in hospitals.
Yeah. That's that.
Your aunties and uncles are all doctors.
Your aunties and uncles are not. Oh,
Their friends are all
Lord.
doctors.
Yeah, so that's a bit much. You needed to get out.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think kind of the same. Just
Same thing.
everyone around you is a doctor, and then just not really the interest in that kind of route. And they always try to encourage us to branch off and be more creative
Of course.
and do more modern things.
Yeah, I mean, the world is a more creative world now. Yeah, very different. I mean, wonderful. And you're brilliant cooks, clearly. What's it like having a dad like Dr. Castle? What's it like being his daughter? So I'll start with you, Amisha. No, don't worry. Talk.
You are protected.
Don't give them any looks.
No, they are free.
What would I say? I don't think he's the conventional dad. I think he's very present. Even though he's been far away for maybe majority of her life and some of mine, he's always there. So if you're not doing well at school, the phone rings. The phone will ring, and school education is very important to him. I think us being able to create our own paths and our own destinies and just do things that make us happy. But also, I think it's great to see him giving back and helping out. I think for me, that's why I went the human rights path.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
So he still influenced you in one way, shape, or form.
In his own little way, but I mean, it was an interesting childhood. We got to travel, see the world. The schools that we went to, we got to interact with an international group of people. So our network is
Very
vast,
global.
not only from his work, but our own interactions at school. And like you can see, we cook together, we get along. So it's a great.
Yeah. And what about you, Leah? I mean, having a dad who is, because he tells me that he only gets to see you, and even during COVID for a whole year, he didn't see you. But he only gets to see you typically, is it twice or thrice a year? Right?
Yeah.
And well, of course, that's with the WHO job living in Ghana. But prior to that, I'm sure he was away a lot of the time. What's that been like for you?
Well, it's been interesting outside of regular people's normal, but I mean, it was normal for us. You'd go, you'd see him every so often, but you'd call all the time, you'd be talking, we have a group chat, it's like all of us and we talk, and we send jokes and things like that, and Bible verses, so it's not really that disconnected because we're always talking together on the phone. At least you know someone, then you come and you see them and it's like, oh yeah, we've been talking, so it's like I know you, but it's like he's always a silent giant behind the scenes, always trying to help us. Like my sister was saying, something's wrong in school, he'll call, he'll be like, oh, do you need, like, what do you need for us to like help you, you know, to do better. So it's always just trying to encourage us to be our better selves, even though we may not be as good in one area, and you'd be like, no, it's fine, you know, sometimes you struggle, but, you know, focus on the areas that you do well, and then you'll improve gradually in all areas. You know, there's always a different route for you to take. If there isn't a plan A, you do plan B and C and etc. So I feel like it's never really been like a missing presence because he's still always there. So.
Doc, I mean, they've said some very paradoxical things. Because a lot of people feel that to have a parent present, especially a father, means you have to be physically present. So when people talk about missing their parents during their childhood, they usually equate it to distance. But in your case, you're saying you've never felt like he's not there. Wherever he is in the world, wherever you are in the world, he's still a very great presence, very strong presence in your life. How do you make that happen?
I think...
and how difficult, if at all, is it for you? Or how challenging? Let me use challenging. I don't believe in difficult.
Let me put it this way. I think it all starts with planning your life. And one of the things that I've been very fortunate to have is an understanding partner. That's my wife. So right from the start, we were in the United Kingdom, and we decided our path will be, we'll go back home, we'll try and build our CVs, and then try and one of us should get an international job. And then if it means, initially when I got the international job, we were all together. But then when I moved to Brazzaville in Congo, it was a non-family duty station. So again, you agree and adjust to say, look, this is a non-family duty station. So the best way is every so often, and we decided in a week, we need to talk to our children, we need to talk to ourselves. So for instance, the first thing I'll do when I wake up is either send a message or call my wife because they're 2 hours ahead. And then we get to say, okay, have you heard from the children? So she will talk to them, I will talk to them, but the messaging is always the same because we've always shared those notes. And so it starts from there. And then also for them to understand that they are free to pick up a phone anytime and call you.
They shouldn't feel like you're busy
feel
or
like
inaccessible.
we need to physically be face to face to things. So life has developed around that. And even during COVID, for example, we decided the best thing is we now have all these platforms. So every Sunday, for almost 2.5 hours, we will have a chat with the children, the mother, and everybody will tell you what they've done, how the things are going. So it feels like they're just in the other room rather than a thing. So, but it's been hard, but it's a sacrifice that you have to make, especially if you really want to get your children to develop in a particular way, especially when it comes to education and so on. So that's how we've managed. But it's always nice, like when they come and we sit and joke, watch. My daughter here likes watching Korean movies.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah. So we'll sit and watch Korean movies and so on. So it's moved from being the father, but being a friend, a mentor to them, guiding them in life and so on. That's how both my wife and I were brought up. My father, for instance, is 97, but he's my friend. So that's the kind of relationship that we want to build with our children, that they don't see you, yes, they'll respect you, but they are your friend and they are free to talk to you on any topic. Yeah, so that's how we've managed, but so far so good. Touch wood, I hope they'll continue being good children.
I think at this point, there's no turning back. But Kamesha, so let's talk about the COVID period. What was that like for you? You're the eldest.
Yes,
Yes. So what was that like for you? During that time, and of course your dad was stuck in Brazzaville because he got stuck there during their meeting. And we'll talk a little more about that too. But what was that like for you, and with your peculiar position in the family, how did that affect you, if at all?
I think it was difficult, more so because we just didn't know what was happening, because it was so unprecedented. But I think because we have this history of being a family where everyone is kind of everywhere in different places, we are continuously checking in on each other. So using those channels to be like, let me check on my brother, let me check on my dad. Like he said, we have the calls every Sunday. I don't live with my mom, my sister, but checking in on them, making sure they had what they needed, checking in on him. We kind of just utilize the channels that we already established as a family, given how we live geographically, and enhance those. It was difficult, like I said, because we didn't know what was going on, but because of the communication, it made it a lot easier, because everyone was keeping each other up to date with what was happening, what was going on in their respective countries, because each country had different regulations, and so it was very nice, and I guess it made us feel at ease to know that, okay, we spoke to dad this morning, we spoke to dad this afternoon, we spoke to my brother. So that made it a lot easier. I know it was very difficult for other people because maybe communication wasn't as easy. But for us, we talk a lot and we communicate a lot. So it helped that we were able to make sure that the other person was okay without any added pressure.
Of course. That culture of communication, effective communication, became more important than ever during that period.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to planning, you didn't know what you were planning for. You didn't know you were planning for a pandemic, but
exactly.
It came in handy.
Yeah, it's. I think my message is that, especially for the young Ghanaians or Africans that are aspiring to become international civil servants and so on, that you need to plan it. It doesn't just come like that.
Can't just get up, pack your bag and move.
I was fortunate that my first entry to WHO was more or less an accident. But subsequent to that, we've always tried to plan. And especially when you start having children, you really need to plan what you want to be. And you'll be surprised, a few weeks ago when my son was around, he asked me, what is your retirement plan? I mean, it shook me a bit that he's already seeing that I'm old. He's turning 21 this year. So he asked, and then I asked him, I said, well, what do you mean my retirement plan? He says, Dad, one day you leave work. What do you want to do? So it's that kind of thinking that you're being reminded even by your children
that you
need to look forward. It's the same that we also have to remind our children that they also need to plan ahead. It's not just getting a job. What do you want to be 10 years from now?
Right.
And hopefully that's a little message that we've constantly tried to put in the heads of our children. And once they are gone and you have no control over their lives, you're left alone, and that's when you realize that you needed to have planned for that as well. Yeah. So in a way, they've been good children.
In a way.
Yeah. she was a bit naughty.
Shooting you, so I was like, she was naughty. Was she a rebel?
No, she's chatty. She was chatty. So when she was a young girl, about 4 years or so in London, we were combined. My wife that time was doing a specialization in medicine. I was doing my specialization. So she was born, and then we decided, look, what's going to happen? My specialization was more formal. You go to school, you come back. And then my wife had to leave, I think when she was 2 years or 1.5 or something, she had to leave to go and do a clinical specialization in Liverpool. I was in London. So Monday to Friday would be the two of us. And you You get on the train, you'll buy sweets to give her to say, please keep quiet on the train. Because what she'll do is she'll be singing, or she'll look at this old gentleman in the train, and then say, Daddy, on her top voice, why is the man looking sad?
And I'm sure you're thinking, hey.
And you have to buy, you have to bribe her, sorry to say, to get on the train and say, Kamesha,
Yeah, you were not.
on the train, here's a sweet. Please don't talk to. So I told her, because the mother will tell her, don't talk to strangers on a train. So we get on the train. This old white lady comes and says, hello. I'm sure she was thinking, does this young girl know English? Hello. How are you? Then she turns to me and says, Dad, why is she speaking like this? I said, oh, you speak English.
Well, it's a good question.
Yeah, this is, oh, you speak English. And suddenly, she turns around and said, my mom says I should not talk to strangers. It was a constant demand.
No.
So you always just pray that she won't say anything. So you go and sit right in the corner of the train to keep her quiet. But that was Kamesha, and she's still really been what you say. I mean, Leah is a quieter one.
Well, it explains why you did law. You know?
Yeah, and human rights
put
law.
the talking to good use and asking questions about people, why they look sad. You know? But Leah, and I can tell that Leah is well, maybe not quiet, but more introverted. Yeah, but because there's still a lot of fire. I see the fire on you. You know, but let me just find out from you, and we'll wrap up this conversation shortly, because I know I've pulled you guys, maybe watching Korean movies. Maybe I've interrupted you, but I mean, we've said so much already. But I want to find out from you, Leah, in particular. Were you worried, and knowing that WHO is a star when it came to COVID-19, were you worried about your dad and the pressure that he may have to face, or the work that came to him? Were you worried? You know, and how did you deal with that? Because you're young, you're a student. How do you deal with that?
Well, I think since he's like already always been away, and especially in like Brazzaville, where it's very hectic and there's like a lot of war and a lot of things going on, and it's a lot more dangerous, I think you already start to like cope and understand that, oh, he's doing like a very dangerous job, but he's doing it for our family. So it's like, oh, you have to be just like mentally prepared. But I feel like already with like all the communication and the talking, it's like, oh no, this happened, but you know, it's fine, you know, and everything's just happened to be fine, which we're very thankful for, and we've been very blessed as a family to have him be safe throughout these so many years being in such a dangerous place. So I feel like coming to Ghana at least was a bit of a relief that he gets to relax a bit. His workload is still quite extensive with what he does, but I think now, even with COVID, it was more with people's health, like, oh, is he going to be okay if he contracts the virus? Oh, is he...
And you did contract it.
Yes.
In early days.
We were the first 4 cases of COVID in Congo.
Wow.
And the unfortunate thing is a colleague of ours was an American, and the wife came from America and wasn't feeling well. It was early days, no mask, no thing, and then after numerous meetings, he used to come to my office and we would chat. And so then one day, a weekend, it was Saturday, he tells me, oh, by the way, my wife is not feeling well. She has flu-like symptoms, and I've also got a bit of flu. It didn't cross my mind. I mean, we thought, fast forward, suddenly the wife is tested. She's found to be COVID
But
positive.
were there tests at that point?
Initially, there were no tests, but the American embassy offered some support to them because they were Americans.
Of course.
So that's how we knew they were COVID positive. Both of them. So now the news is broken, so we are COVID positive. So a bunch of us who used to sit in what we call the war room to coordinate the COVID response in Africa, were then automatically what they call contacts. So we had to give our samples. They sent them for testing. They came back, were positive.
Where did the samples go to?
They were sent to the DRC across the river.
Okay.
Yeah, because the DRC had the facility then. And we were positive. So we were about 5 of us in that war room that tested positive. That was March 2020.
Right at the beginning.
At the beginning of the problem in Africa.
I don't even know how to ask the question. Because I'm even just thinking back to the first cases that were recorded here in Ghana, and people who had COVID were like recluses. They were treated with so much stigma, and
there was some level of stigma. I'll tell you, we used to live in a UN compound in Brazzaville, and the roads, the network, maybe 20 meters from your door is a road. So this is when you get to know who your friend is. Because these guys who we used to play golf with would be passing in the road, and then when you shout out, hello, they would wave back and say, okay, we'll see you.
Sorry to go.
So it was, fortunately, in my life, I've had these episodes of major events that have happened, which I've gone through, and COVID was one. 2 of the colleagues that got COVID with me had to be evacuated to Germany because they were quite ill. Whereas for some reason, God was kind to me. I survived. I had a few symptoms.
The African blood was,
the mosquitoes and everything that people talk about. But I guess, in a way, your body. I've had, touch wood, a life where, other than accidents, I not had major infections or something, and COVID was the first. Although I must say that I reacted to one of the medicines they gave me, and that was a giveaway when I went home. My wife was asking, what is that spot? I said, no, by the way, I had COVID.
So you didn't tell them?
No, I didn't.
He didn't tell you?
Because it
you
was
didn't want
going
them to worry.
It was going to be very difficult with all the information that was on the news on what COVID was doing.
And what they said it would do in Africa.
Yeah, so I kept it. The only person I told was my immediate elder brother, who's a lawyer as well. That's the guy I told. I said, well, if these things take me, this is what I want you to do for me. He says, okay, I'll keep it to myself.
That must have been very difficult.
Yeah, but it was really difficult. But I came after 1 month. I tested negative. But unfortunately, 2 of my colleagues really went through. They still retain some psychological impact of COVID.
What they
even
call
now.
the long COVID.
The long COVID, as they call it, yeah. So unfortunately, yeah. But it's something that we should learn to live with. And I tell people that it's a disease that has come. We listen to what we're being told, and I'm sure we will get out of it if we observe what we're being told to do.
Including the vaccination.
The vaccination, ensuring that when we're in crowded places we wear masks. But for now, really to avoid getting a lot of people in our hospitals and crowding our hospitals, let's get vaccinated. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, insightful conversations with Dr. Francis Chisaka Kasula. And of course, I've been speaking to his daughters as well, Kamisha and Leah. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. I know I just ambushed you, but I can't wait to dig into your meal. But look, it doesn't end here. Next week, we'll be back. And next week, we're hanging out with Doc's boys. So we'll do a nice hangout, and then we'll play some golf as well. That's the plan, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so until then, this has been Diplomatic License on City TV. My name is Apioko. Spending a whole day full of conversations, education, and a lot of activity. Look, Doc got me to ride a bicycle. That's a huge feat. a huge feat. And of course, experiencing some Zambian flavor in here as well. And I'm very privileged to have been speaking to the World Health Organization country rep, the ambassador, the boss here in Ghana. And, you know, WHO has been a star over the past 2 years. So speaking to a star, very big deal. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.